Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. You never know when other people may join in. And again, please do use the chat. Do not use the Q&A because it's really hard for me to see the Q&A. So we are going to get started here. So the first thing I wanted to show you was how you actually open PowerPoint. Lindsay, can you see my screen where it says PowerPoint 101? Yes, okay, good. Do you already know how to get into PowerPoint and pick a template for your slide project? No, okay, so I'm gonna go back to the beginning then. I'm gonna close this PowerPoint. I hope you'll be able to see my screen as I do that. I don't wanna save that. I'm just gonna go back. Nope, screen sharing has stopped. That's quite all right, not a problem at all. What I'm doing right now is I'm simply opening up my PowerPoint program, opening up PowerPoint. Let me go back to Zoom and restart here. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. Let me find that chat window again so that I can see you. Give me 1 second. It's a little harder when there's only one person. There we go. Okay, fantastic. So all I did was I opened up my PowerPoint application. So you're going to see the icon on your desktop. I work on a Mac here at home, so I see it down in my dock. I simply open it up, and this is the window that you're going to see when you first open it up, or something that looks very similar to this. Okay. And the first thing you'll notice is I have a whole bunch of recent documents that I've worked on inside of PowerPoint. So if I want to go back to something I've already done, I can find it down here. The other thing you're going to find across the top are some themed PowerPoint projects. There's a blank one if you just want a white blank canvas and you want to do everything to it. But if you want to have a visual theme that runs through your PowerPoint, a visual theme that runs through each slide, you can do that through the themes. There's a More Themes button that I can press, and it gives you a whole bunch of themes, and then you can pick the one you want. So let's just pick something not too busy. We'll just pick this quick starter one, and then I'm going to go down here and hit create. Oh, I don't want to do that. Looks like more of a tour. Let me hit something here, gallery. I've worked in this one before. Say, let's see, hold on, let me make sure I get my screen saving back on here. Sorry for the glitch, give me just a moment. Okay, we should be good again. So what I did was I very simply picked a theme and I opened that theme. And then what it does is it starts me on a title slide. All right. So in this title slide, you'll notice there's one box up top, click to add title, and one box on the bottom, click to add subtitle. I simply click in one of the boxes and I start writing a title. Here is our title. And then I click in this little one, and here is our subtitle. And it's because of the theme, it's already decided your font, the sizing of your font for titles and subtitles, etc. We have a lot of control over that once we get into it. But that's one of the purposes of a theme, is because it has that control over fonts. You can always change it. Okay, now what I usually do is after I have put in this first slide, I've put in my title and my subtitle, the first thing I do is I go up to File and I hit Save As. So I'm immediately remembering to save this. So if anything happens, I don't lose my work. So I'm just going to go ahead and let it be called Presentation 1. I like to save things on my desktop, but this is absolutely personal preference. It's being saved as a PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to go ahead and hit saved. So now this is saved, so I don't have to worry about losing my work. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is I want to start building my project. So in this Home tab, the Home tab is where you add new slides. Here, we're going to get into that in a second. It's where you can change some layout features. This is where you control your font, the different types of fonts. It's where you control your size of your font, bold, italics. This is where you can change the color of your font or the background color. If I had a text box, I could change the color of the box itself. So this is where you do a lot of these basic functions is inside this Home tab. And the first one that we want is here with New Slide. And I'm going to decide, I think I want to put in a comparison slide. Now you can see here there are different kinds of slides that are sort of pre-formatted for you. Honestly, when I'm making a slide presentation, I almost always hit the blank slide because then I have complete control over what I want to put into it. But some of these, if you know immediately, yes, I want to make a comparison on a slide, or I know I want to put in a picture, or some of these others, these can be very helpful to use. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a comparison slide, and you'll see that it's already formatted for me. Again, it has a title text box. I click in there. Here is our comparison. Again, thing 1, I'm comparing with thing 2. Okay, and these again are already formatted for you. Now, if I decided I wanted to change the size of this font, I clicked into the box. So if I click out of it, you can see that box kind of goes away. But then if I click where the lettering is, you'll see the box comes back. I go ahead and highlight my text, and then I can come up here. It's automatically put to 22 Gil Sans, but I can change it if I want. I want it to be 18 instead. So you have control over that. One of the really wonderful things about PowerPoint, and the same function exists inside of Excel as well, is the undo button. The undo button is all the way at the top here, and it's this little sort of curvy arrow that points to the left. If I click that, you'll notice what happened down here. It got big and it got highlighted. I click it again, my box goes away. I click it again, and it just, you notice over here, thing 2, that word disappeared. What it will do is it will literally undo what you've done step by step by step by step. And then I say, oh wait, no, I didn't want that to be undone. I want to redo it. It's this little curvy arrow pointing to the right. Right next to the undo is the redo. So I can redo. So let's see, thing 2. So I'm comparing thing 1 and thing 2. Again, I can always go back up here and change. I can make this box show up again and change. And then in this slide, because it's specifically a comparison slide, it has these symbols inside here. If you hover your mouse, it'll tell you what each symbol means. So this one is for inserting a table. This one inserts a chart. It inserts some smart art graphics. This one inserts a picture. Inserts online pictures. So this one will insert a picture from my computer. This one will insert an online picture. And then this last one will insert a movie file, like if you have a YouTube clip or a video file that you want to insert. We're going to go ahead and insert a picture that I've already saved onto my computer. So I'm going to click here, picture from file. It's going to open up everything I have on my desktop, which is where I saved the picture, and I've got thing 1. And I hit insert. And there's my picture. Now, the first thing I want you to notice is when the picture showed up at the bottom here, it says alt text and then colon and then a picture of. You should always try to include alt text on any images you put into a slide presentation, so that if someone with visual impairment is trying to access your PowerPoint slide presentation and their computer is reading the slides to them, then when the computer gets to this picture, it will read to them what you put in that alt text. Now you'll notice my little alt text went away down here. So does that mean I can't change my alt text? No, it does not. If I right click on this image, you get an option, edit alt text. So I click on that, and on the right side here is my alt text control box, control panel. And then I'm going to change, this is a picture of I don't know who that is, some kind of cartoon figure. And that's what my alt text is going to be. Now there is no save over here. It feels strange. I type it in and then I close it. So there's no save. You don't have to worry about that, but you type it in and then I close it. And so my alt text has been created for this image. So I'm going to go to the next one, do the same thing, come down here, click in the box, click on the icon that says add image or add picture from file. Click on the next one, thing 2, and here's my next one. And again, here's my alt text. Now this one, it's the correct thing, a blurry image of a dog. That is what that is, so I'm going to leave it be. And here are my 2 images in my comparison. I can come back up here, I can make this text box smaller, so that thing 1 goes like that. Now I like it like this. The difference between being inside the box and controlling the whole box is when you see your cursor as a straight line, you're inside the box and you're controlling the text. If your cursor becomes this 4-sided arrow, then it means you're controlling the box itself and you can move it around. So I can move it right above there. It's exactly the same thing in the image. I can move it over. I can take this text box. I can move it here. And you'll see as I've moved it, see those little dotted lines that's on the screen? That's PowerPoint helping you compose your slide. It's telling me that the text box that thing 2 is written in is in the same alignment as the text box that thing 1 is written in. PowerPoint does this all the time. It's very nice. Really helps you be able to compose your slides easily. We all good with everything so far? Perfect. And then I've finished this slide. I'm going to go up and save. You can do it several ways. You can go to, let me think, File, Save. I can go up to this icon, this little old-fashioned floppy disk icon, and click that to save. Or if you know your keystrokes, you'd hit, on a Mac, it's Command S. I believe on a PC, it's Control S. But those are different ways to save. I save after every single slide because once again, I don't want to lose my work. Okay, so the next one. So now we want another slide. Again, we're still in our Home tab. I'm going to come back down here and I'm going to say, yeah, I think I want another comparison slide. No, actually, I don't want that slide. You see over here on the left-hand panel where you can see all your slides, you see that it's highlighted. It's got the bow. I'm simply going to hit the delete key on my keyboard. Boom, it's gone. So I've deleted that. Okay, now I think what I want to do is I'm going to come up to new slide. I'm going to insert a blank slide this time. Now what I can do here is insert all kinds of things on my blank slide. The first thing I'm going to do is go to the insert ribbon. The insert ribbon in PowerPoint. Okay, so this is where you can insert new slides from this ribbon. I tend to do it from the home. It's just habit. You can do it from wherever you want. You can do it from here, or you can do it from home. But this is where you insert pretty much anything you'd want to insert in your slide. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a text box. So I click here, and then you'll see what happens with my cursor. I click and drag. It opens the text box. Now I can start typing in my text box. Okay, I click outside. I can see what I have there. I can go back up to insert. I want to do a second text box. Here is my second text box. So now I have 2 text boxes on my page. One of the other things I can insert, which I think is incredibly helpful, let's say that you have a website and there's an image on the website, keeping in mind copyright, but there's an image on the website that you want to include in your slide. And it can be really hard to copy and paste things off of websites. But here, I simply go to, see up here where it says screenshot? I click the small little arrow next to screenshot, and I come down here to screen clipping. Now I have, behind this PowerPoint, I have a website opened in a Chrome browser on my desktop, and I already have that open because I was prepared for this. I'm going to come down here to screen clipping. I'm going to click on it. My PowerPoint went away. Unfortunately, I don't think you can see it. But what happens is my cursor turns into a little plus sign. I'm going to click and drag over whatever image I want from my website, and there it put it into my PowerPoint. Now, unfortunately, I don't think you could see the part where my desktop showed up, but hopefully you could see the part where it popped back into PowerPoint. Are you good with me? Are we okay? We all good? You still there? Okay, well, hopefully you're still there, and hopefully we're all still on the same page. No worries, no worries. Okay, so this is how you can very easily get images into a slide from other sources. And then you can control this image any way you want. I almost always put my cursor on one of the corners because then it makes it larger or smaller in proportion. You can always drag it this way, drag it that way. This little control at the top here allows you to rotate it around if you need to do that. Okay, so that's, again, we were in the Insert tab, Screenshot, Screen Clipping. Now, before you do that, you do have to be prepared for it. So you have to have a browser open. You have to have something open behind your PowerPoint because it's just going to go to your desktop otherwise if you don't. Let's see. Let's say I want to change the type here. My cursor is a straight up and down line. That's how I know I'm controlling the text. I go back to my Home tab and I decide, no, I want that to be nice and big, so I can make it nice and big. I can change my text box. I can move my text box. I can fill my text box with highlight color. And if I highlight the text itself, hard to see, yellow on yellow, but I can change the text color. So you have lots and lots of control on what you can do here. I'm like, okay, this looks fine for me. I think I'm ready to move on to the next one, which means I'm going to save. And now I'm going to go on to the next one. I really, really like this slide. So this time when I go up to new slide, I can come down here to duplicate. I can duplicate that slide. And now I have two exactly the same slides. So this actually helps if you want to create a duplicate of a slide and then just put a small difference on each slide. Now, this is not the same thing as animating a slide. We're not really going to get into animation today. But so this is duplicating a slide instead. And once again, I'm going to save. Okay, now let's try a slide. Yep, question, go right ahead. Type it on in. Type your question in your chat box, please. Not in the Q&A, but in the chat box. All right, I don't see a question yet, so I'm going to go ahead and keep going. But if you have a question, type it in there into the chat box at any time. Okay, you don't have a question. Good. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, let's see, we're going to open up a new slide. I'm going to open up here, title only. So now I have a title. But now I want to include, so I'm going to insert text box, text, line 1. And I'm going to insert, can you repeat the copy feature again? Copy, you mean making duplicate slides? Sure. So I had one slide. I went up to new slides. So I'm in the home tab. I go to new slide, open it up, and down underneath, duplicate slide. And I can click it, and it will create exactly the same slide for me again. And then if I decide, oh, I don't really need 3 duplicate slides, I only need 2 of them, I can highlight one, I click it, you can see it's highlighted, I hit the delete key on my keyboard, and one of them goes away. Okay? So now I have, go ahead and keep chatting with me if I'm missing something. So now I have one text box. It's got one line of text in it. Oops. I'm going to hit my return key, text line 2, hit my return key, text line 3. Okay, and so I can do all kinds of creative things with this text. One of the things I can do is, let me move my text box around so I can see what I'm doing here. I am going to go to, you can go over here to Quick Styles, and that'll change the font, it'll change the background, it'll change the color scheme. That's, again, we're still in the Home tab, towards the right under Quick Styles. I can, no, I didn't really want to do any of that. I go up here to my undo button. Undo, undo, undo. Oh, nope, I really did want those other lines there. Redo, I just hit the redo button to do that one. Let's see, I can highlight this. I'm going to go into, no, I don't want that one. Here we go. This is what I want. I want some word art, although this will actually create an entirely new box for me. See, word art, I can do this. So I had this highlighted, so that's why these words are inside of here. And I did that under, and so now that I've done that, you'll notice an entire new ribbon opens up, shape format. So now I can control what this is. I can control what the internal text boxes. I can control the width of the border around it using the same button. I can control the color of that border around it. Okay, you can have it in different, there we go, different styles. I want my text to have kind of a glow around it. So there's lots and lots you can play with in terms of controlling what your text looks like. All right, we're going to go ahead and save that. Keep on going. Now I'm thinking, actually, let's see, I can always go back to any slide I want and change things. So I've decided, you know what, I think I want this text to be a little bit bigger maybe. I do that in my Home tab. I make it a little bigger. I want it to be a different font. I want it to be a different color. So you can play. And I'm gonna save. Okay, so you can go back to any of your slides that you need to and change it, redo it, insert something new or different. Make sure you hit save so you don't change anything. Now I'm thinking, I forgot to put something in between slides 2 and 3. I really want a slide in there. So I can click on slide 2. I'm in my Home tab. I come here to New Slide. I'm just going to click blank. And it inserts whatever slide format I picked in between slides 2 and 3. So now this is slide 3. okay? And I can do whatever I want in here. In here, I'm going to insert, I'll just, you know what? I'm going to insert a table. So I'm on my insert ribbon. Here I'm at table. And what this does is this is telling me how many rows and columns. So I decide how many rows and columns I want. I simply click and it creates that table in the slide for me. And I can then create my column headings, name, date, idea, state, and I can put in names or categories or here, my name. We can then change the size of the table. You see up here, you can change this color scheme of your table. You can change the font within the table, the borders, the row around the table, so you have great control. Okay, over here, total rows, heading columns, if you need columns on this side. So you can do all kinds of things with these tables. Again, that was under the Insert tab for table. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit save. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to, let's see, I'm going to go back to this slide here. And I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, I think maybe I like it, but I wonder if PowerPoint has any other better ideas on how this slide can be designed. Up at the top, I'm going to go into my design ribbon, and all the way to the right, design ideas. I'm going to click that. And what you'll see happen is over here on the very right, you'll have design idea control box here. And PowerPoint will suggest all different ways of designing this slide. Some you might like, some you might not like. Some of them insert things that weren't there before, like for instance, this one has this big red at the bottom here, which is not part of the theme. So sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes, like here, I'm going to type on this, but it didn't quite know what to do with this tiny little text box. Well, that's okay. I moved it. Now, did you see what happened over here on the right when I moved it? They redesigned my slide because now it looks different. So now they've redesigned it. They've tried this or this. You can decide, wow, that looks really different. Maybe I like that. I kind of like that, but I really want this to be more here. So you can pick and choose. You can work with PowerPoint to go back and forth between you designing, them designing, and you tweaking their design. There will be slides that they won't be able to give you any ideas for, like this slide. If you remember when we inserted this slide, this was a pre-formatted slide. So they're saying, sorry, we don't have any other ideas for you. That's kind of all you get. So there will be times when they won't be able to help you with design, but then there are lots and lots and lots of times they really will, and it really is pretty cool. Where's the slide here? This one. Let's see what they come up with this idea. Look at all these. Look at what they've done here. All these different design ideas. Let's do another slide. I'm going to go back to home. I'm going to go back to new slide. I'm just going to pick a blank one. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert text box, text line 1. Now this time, instead of putting line 2 and line 3 in the same text box, I'm going to put them in different text boxes. So this time I'm going to close this for right now. Now I want another text box. I click text box again. I open another one, text line 2. I go back and hit text box. I open another one, text line 3. One of the things you note is that I can move these all around. Please see what's happening with those little dotted lines. That's PowerPoint trying to help me compose. It's telling me where these text boxes line up in comparison to each other. Right now, they're equal distance apart from each other. So it can be really, really helpful. But let's take a look and see what happens if we go to Design, all the way to the right, Design Ideas. Let's see. Well, see, now this is very interesting because they didn't really do anything with my text boxes, you'll notice. What they did was they worked designs around these 3 text boxes. Let's see if I change the font size. I go back to my Home tab. I'm going to make this font size bigger. Design Ideas. It moved it a little bit. So this is what it is. It's just playing. You are literally just playing. You and PowerPoint are playing with each other to create designs for your slides. That's all you're doing here. It can be great fun. It can be a little frustrating sometimes. It depends on how much control you want and how much you're willing to just sort of open it up and let PowerPoint give you some ideas. They've come up with some really great ideas in the past when I've done some slides before. All right, let's see, what else? So we did that. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Let's see, what else do I want to do? I showed you how you can make this text rotate. So that would be kind of cool to have it rotate that way. Again, this is all about composition and design. Okay, I didn't like it. I'm going to undo that. Takes it right back to the way it was before. I'm going to save. Now I'm looking over my slideshow, my slide presentation here, and I'm thinking, yeah, okay, that's right, that's right, that's right. No, I really want this slide up here. I click on the slide, I click and drag. I drag it up, I move it to wherever I want it to be. I can click on this one, move it down, I can move it to wherever I want it to be. So you can reorder your slides once you've already made them. Questions? Am I going too fast? Have I missed something that you wanted to learn how to do? Or is everything okay? Everything's going well. Okay. So I've got my basic slide presentation going here. I think, okay, fine. I pretty much got it set. Now, though, with this slide, you know when you're standing, when you're in a PowerPoint presentation and the person hits the click and one thing shows up on the slide, and then they hit the click button and another thing shows up but on that same slide, how do you do that? That's called animation. That is up here, animations. So I'm going to click into the animation tab. I'm going to click on one thing. What's the first thing that I want to show up when I want this slide to show up? I want this one to show up first. You notice now that I've clicked on it, I have controls up here. What this does is these tell you how it's going to appear when you click. So let's say I want it to come in as a checkerboard. Okay. See this little one? That little one is telling you that this is the first thing that will animate on the slide. Now you have not animated this or this yet, which means if you don't, then when you click and you open up this slide, these two pieces will open up with the slide. And then if you click one more time, then this will animate onto the slide. But it's the first thing. So now I can click here and I can say I want it to fly in. And you saw that it did that. This is number 2. Now I'm going to click this one and I want it to grow and shrink. Grow and this is number 3. And you see over here on the left panel, this is slide number 4. You see that little asterisk next to it? That tells you that there are animations in this slide. These do not have those little asterisks because we haven't put any animation in those slides. This little asterisk tells you that there's animation in the slide. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. You can get really complicated with these animations, or you can keep them very simple. On the very right here, you can tell it when you want your animation to start. Is it going to start on the click? Meaning when you click either the arrow key on your keyboard, or if you have a clicker in your hand, controlling it so you can be standing in the front of a room and using a clicker to control. It tells you how long it'll take. And then what we do, I don't know if this is going to work with screen sharing, so bear with me here a minute. You can go to Slideshow. If I say play from start, this is going to open it up, and I think I'm going to lose you. But I'm going to give it a try. And I'm just going to play from the current slide. So we'll see if this works. I might lose you. Hold on with me for a moment. So that was 1. That was 2. And now 3, it had it growing. But you noticed what happened was when I when I clicked open to the slide, that picture was already there. So now I'm going to hit my escape button on my keyboard. That takes me out of my slideshow mode, brings me back into my PowerPoint so I can continue to control what I want to do. And I'm thinking, nope, I didn't like the way that did that. So I'm going to go back up here to animation, and I'm going to click on the 3. It shows me this was a grow, but I don't want it to grow. I want it to dissolve in there. So now let's go back to Slideshow. Let's go back to play from current slide. Now I've clicked in and there's nothing on the slide. I click once, the first thing started. The first thing came in. I click twice, my second animation came in. Now I click a third time, now my third animation came in. Yes, this is the way I want it. I hit escape on my keyboard, takes me out of slideshow mode, brings me back into control. I hit save. Now the slide is the way I want it to be. So those are animations. So that's a nice way for you to sort of kick up your slide presentation. Let's see what else here. I'm trying to see what else I can show you. Shapes. Let's say I want to emphasize this picture. So I'm in home and I could do shapes here, but I usually go to insert because that's what I'm doing. I am inserting a shape. Insert all kinds of shapes. I'm going to insert an arrow. Notice my cursor. As I click and drag, it creates the arrow. It can be narrow, it can be really big and fat, it can be skinny, it can be long, short. I'm controlling this because I've still got my finger down on the mouse. I haven't unclicked. Now I've unclicked. Here it is. Again, I can still control that by moving the corner. All right. Again, you can do all kinds of fancy things with it, change its color. One of the things, this actually has a small little border around it. If you go into the border, you can change the weight of that border, which means the thickness of that border, and then you can change the color of that border there. So you have the fill. I click out of it, and those controls went away. I click back into it. They show back up again. Okay, I can move this around. I can rotate it. Oh, look. Okay, those are inserting shapes. You can insert icons, smart art, chart. You can insert a chart. Uh-oh, it's opening up my Excel. It's asking what chart I'm going to insert. I don't have a chart to insert. So I'm going to close Excel. Oh, look at that. Was that a little confusing for you? Did you see what it did? I actually did that really fast because I didn't have any numbers. It opened up the Excel. It put a chart in the Excel so that I could insert data. I could insert category headings, column headings, row headings, and then I could insert data. Whatever data I inserted in that Excel chart, it would then populate in here. Please repeat. I would be happy to, because that was confusing. Okay, so I'm going into insert. I'm going to insert a chart. I click on insert chart. We'll go ahead and just stick with column. Here's a column. So a simple column, 2D column chart. I clicked it. Clicking it is now making my Excel open up. So Excel is opening up. And see, this is where the chart on my PowerPoint is going to pull information from. So I'm going to change Series 1 to baseball. Series 2, we'll have that be football. And we'll have this be hockey. And we'll have category 1 be, I have absolutely no idea. Spring, fall, winter, summer. And I'll put 6. I can change this. I'm not going to change all of them. 9, 4. So I'm changing the information here in Excel. Okay? I've changed the information in Excel. So now I'm going to close my Excel. Quit. Now let's see if that worked. Yep, it did. Let me move it over here so that you can see it better. I'm going to make it smaller. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm hitting the delete button on my keyboard. Made my shape go away. I'm getting rid of this. I'm going to hit the delete button on my keyboard. Whoops. There we go. Now you can see my chart. Spring, fall, summer, hockey, football, baseball. This is what I typed in. These are the numbers. Some of them were there. Some of them are mine. So it created a chart for you. It combined what you had in Excel and put it over here in PowerPoint. Did that make sense? Perfect. Wonderful. The one thing I didn't show you before when we were doing animations is if you see over here, this is your animation control panel. I deleted some of my animation. So we've still got number one. And now this used to be number 3, but number 2, that text box that I deleted it. So now number 3 became number 2. So this is number 2. So this is it. So if you get really complicated animations in here, which sometimes people do, it'll show up here, it'll show you the order, and you can use this to move things around. I just made number 4, look, I just made the picture number 1 and the text box number 2 by clicking and dragging here. And then it opens up your other controllers down here. So this can be your control panel if you have really complicated animations. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close that. One of the things that you can do is you can layer what is on your slide. So we have 3 things on this slide. We have the text box, the picture, and the chart. I am in my Home tab. To the right here where it says Arrange, I am going to click on my text box. And I'm going to click on the edge of it so I'm not inside controlling the text, but I am now, whoops, I'm controlling the entire text box. And I'm going to come up here to Arrange, click that little arrow. I have to move the chat box. And see, you can reorder your objects. Bring to front, send to back, bring forward, send backward. So, to help make that make sense, let's move this like this, and let's move this like this. So everything's kind of on top of each other, right? I want the text You can see right now the text is underneath everything. If I come up here to, whoops, I gotta click on my text box. I come up here to the range button. I want the text bring forward. It put it on top, this is hard to see, it put it on top of the picture, but it's still underneath the chart. You can see this chart line running through it. That was bring forward. If I bring to front, it puts it on top of everything else. Let's try that again with the picture. I've clicked on the picture. Right now the picture is underneath everything. It is underneath the text box, it is underneath the chart. I have the picture clicked, I come up to a range. If I, let's see, bring forward, it is now on top of the chart, but underneath the text. If I bring to front, it is now on top of everything. So you can layer what you have here. That makes sense? We all good? Perfect, wonderful. Okay, what else do I want to show you in here? Most of this is playing. You can insert a hyperlink if you want to literally have a link inside of your PowerPoint presentation. Let's say you're going to be giving a PowerPoint presentation and in the middle of it, you're going to want to be able to go to a website. You put the link for that website right inside your PowerPoint presentation. And then while you're there, you can hit the link and it'll bring people to the website. Okay, comments, you can put in comments. You can embed a video. We saw that with this one up here. Those 6 icons, one of them was embed a video. You can, I'm gonna go back to home. I'm gonna hit new slide. I'm gonna hit, let's see, 2 different ways to do this. I'll click this one. These 6 icons, again, this one here is to embed a video. You click on it and it's gonna ask what video. You have to already have the video saved on your computer so you can insert it in here. Or that slide is at, where did I put that slide? Oh, put it here in between 2 and 3 because I was clicked on number 2. I'm gonna hit my delete button. Here. There we go, I deleted the slide. I'm going to, now I'm highlighting slide 3, so I go up to home, new slide blank. You notice it put it underneath 3, so I inserted a new slide here. I can go to insert video. It's just 2 different ways of doing it. Okay, movie from file. So this would be something saved on your computer. Movie browser. You can get it offline. Let's see, draw. If you have a blank slide, or any slide really, you can draw on your slide. Let's say I want to really emphasize this. You can do this while you're giving a presentation. So if you're giving a presentation and you want to highlight certain things while you're talking, you can control and do that while you're doing it. Again, you can do transitions. So if you want, this is slide 4. We want it to push. So now slide 4, here's slide 3. Let's go to slideshow. Let's go to, I'm going to click on slide 3, play from current slide. So there's slide 3. And now I'm going to click to slide 4, and instead of it just appearing, it slides up. That is transition. Transition is different from animation. Animation is what happens within a slide. Transition is what happens between your slides. All right, I think we're pretty much coming to the end. This didn't take very long at all because there weren't as many people here. But, oh, wait, let's see what happened over here. Oh, they're just giving you ideas on what to do to make your presentation better. Do you have any questions? I'm going to hit save. I've showed you how to preview it so you can see what it looks like when you're actually giving it. So you can decide if you like it or not. If you don't, you come back. I've showed animations, I've showed transitions. We played around with inserting. We've played with designing. We've played with drawing. Is there anything you can think of that you wanted to learn that I haven't touched on? No, this was a great introduction. I'm glad. That's wonderful. Not that you can think of. Okay, fantastic. Well, then I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I am going to create one more slide for you because I didn't before. I am going to insert a text box and I'm going to tell you this is me. All right, this is my work email. So if you have any questions, follow-up questions, you can go ahead and send me any questions you want. And then if you go to geppel.org, which is our library's website, you go to the, I think it's called Events and Programs. On our homepage, did you miss it? The video of this presentation will be up on the Did You Miss It page. Usually takes 3 or 4 days, maybe sometimes a week, so that if you want to come back and review it, you can do that anytime you want in the future. The programs on the Did You Miss It page are listed in reverse chronological order. So the most current ones are up front, and then if you want to find an older one, you just page back. So are we all good? Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here for me. I appreciate it, and I really appreciate your interaction with me through the chat box. Thank you very much.